The Dartmouth Historical and Arts Society is a nonprofit volunteer organization whose mission is to support, promote, preserve, and disseminate the historic and cultural diversity of Dartmouth, Massachusetts. The digital library on our website is a collection of books, articles, photographs, and various records related to the history of Dartmouth and surrounding communities from the colonial period forward. Much of the information is original source material, and many records and collections are only available in digital form on this website. This is a significant resource for genealogists, researchers, and anyone interested in immersing themselves into the life and times of the people during the settling of this part of New England. The homepage of the website has tabs at the top, and most of them are intuitive. A separate tab for events, an About tab, a contact page, and a page on how to participate and help support our work. There's also a Quaker Project tab for a major effort now underway. We'll talk about this later in this tutorial. The primary entrance to the digital library is through the Contents tab. Consider this to represent a table of contents you might find in any reference book. In addition, there's a search box that lets you search the website directly for information based on a name or other text. Please note, this only searches words on the website, not within the documents themselves. So let's enter the library. The Contents page shows the sections where each type of information resides. The blue links are doors to related sections. Under each link are descriptions of some of the information within the section, but should not be considered a complete index. They are there to give you an idea of what's in that section, but you need to go into the sections to see everything within. The sections are Archives, Colonial Era Records, Collections, Current Events, Genealogy, Land Record Research, Division of Lands, Living History, a map room, a reading room, a video channel. And since we know relevant history doesn't end at our borders, we've provided links to many of our neighboring historical societies and organizations. Let's look at some of the highlights and start with the Colonial Era section. This section contains the bulk of our original source material. Some of these records are links to the records on other sites such as Internet Archives, but most are original to this site. One collection of significant records only available in this library are 18 volumes, over 6,000 pages, of Quaker meeting records starting from 1699. The Religious Society of Friends from Smith Neck Meeting, who are the caretakers of these original records, asked DHAS to help preserve them. We digitized them, and they are now available on our site. In the early days, the men and women had separate meetings, so their minutes are in separate volumes. There are also other records of interest to genealogists and researchers, such as books of removals documenting the time and place members relocated to other towns and monthly meetings. There are also births, marriages, and death records from 1699 to 1880. This is one of the pages from the 1699 volume. There are no indexes in these volumes, and as you can see, they are a real challenge to read. We at DHAS felt that the 250 years of dedicated documenting of the business and life of these folks needed to be brought into the light of modern day, so we embarked on a project to transcribe all of these volumes and make them readable and computer searchable on our website. But more on that later. Another link in the Colonial Era section are the Native American historical records, including the 1861 Earl Report to the Governor and Council concerning the Indians of the Commonwealth. It is essentially a census of Native Americans in the state of Massachusetts, including family groupings and towns of residence. There are old Dartmouth Town meeting records from 1674 to 1787, the period before the divisions that separated the old town into the 5 now existing towns. There are Plymouth Colony records from 1633 and much more. If we go back to the Contents page and scroll down to the Division of Land section, we can get the story of early land distribution in Dartmouth, an unusual and very interesting tale. Land distribution is unique for Old Dartmouth and surrounding communities. A paper written by one of our board members, Sally Aldrich, explains the process. A key part of that story are the proprietor's records, surveys, and surveyor's notes of land descriptions from Benjamin Crane's field notes. There are over 1,000 pages of handwritten land record images. Since these are not indexed, a name index was created by DHAS for all these records and is inclusive to this library. Another section in the contents page is our map room. The map room contains over 70 high-resolution maps from the mid to late 1800s, mostly of Dartmouth and other towns in Bristol County, Massachusetts. There are 35 maps from F.W. Beer's 1871 atlas covering all the towns in Bristol County. These maps are high-resolution and can be enlarged to be easily read. With one click, you can enlarge the map and scroll around to see detail anywhere on the map. The great value of these 19th century maps is that each property is identified with the owner's name at the time, often designated residential maps. An additional feature to many of these maps is the work done by DHAS to add grid work and create an index of names for easy location, similar to the paper road maps of old. Also, legends locating schools, mills, and other features have been added. Here's an example of the index for locating names on the map. Another section in contents is our reading room. The reading room contains books, articles, publications, and much more. For research or just general reading, this is a collection of material not easily found elsewhere. One example is Peleg Burroughs' Journal, 1778 to 1798, the Tiverton, Rhode Island years of the humbly bold Baptist minister. This book is the transcription of a diary contemporary with the Revolutionary War era and provides a first-hand personal account of everyday life in Tiverton, Little Compton, and Old Dartmouth. Photos of the original handwritten journal as well as the searchable transcription of all of the journal's existing pages are here. This is an example of the word searchable text from the 1980 publication of the transcription. Reading this journal quickly reveals the much different time and lifestyle. Peleg would walk miles to visit neighbors, staying the night because it took too long to return the same day. These printer-ready pages were made available to DHAS for digitizing by the Rhode Island Genealogical Society. And here is the photographed version of 2 pages from the original journal. Going back to the home page and clicking on the Quaker Project tab will bring you to the information regarding the transcribing of the Quaker records mentioned earlier in the presentation. The transcription project goal and end result we are looking for is to have an exact word-for-word copy of the original handwritten document. It is important to retain the source information without entering errors of interpreting, spelling changes, or adding punctuation which could change the intended meaning. Therefore, all spelling and punctuation errors in the original manuscript are retained in the transcription. To do this transcription work on this scale, DHAS has developed a process to ensure the best quality product for this large body of material. We have commercial vendors to do the first pass at transcribing the handwritten documents. We then have a volunteer group to review the transcriber's work and make corrections as necessary as a second set of eyes on the documents. Finally, we have a quality assurance group to review the reviewer's submitted work as a third pass. A database has been built, and a gatekeeper manages all the document and image movements while ensuring format consistency. After all the transcriptions are complete for each volume or section, they are merged into the final file for website publishing. We are currently looking for volunteers to help review these transcriptions. No special skill or background is required, just the patience and desire to help preserve a piece of history for future generations. This work is done at home, and a computer and email service is all that's required. All the information regarding the transcription guidelines, resource information, and background is on the Quaker Project page, along with a reviewer training tutorial and contact information. There is much more information in the library, and it is freely available to everyone, so we invite you to travel back through our time portal and visit with our neighbors of the past. And while you're there, if you meet William Gifford, say hello from me. Our house was his homestead back in 1740.